Alright, my fellow agents, welcome back to the Gaming Brigade, and we happen to be at that point in the season where a lot of players out there, including myself, are dotting the I's and crossing the T's in regard to certain builds. We are trying to get ready for Year 8 Season 2, and the main reason I say that is this is kind of that mad rush at the end of the season. You know, we have the stretch goals event, we also have a global event going on. A lot of players out there are trying to farm for certain items. You're finally picking them up, and you're wondering what are certain builds that you want to have at the ready for next season. So as we roll into next week, my friends, I want to take a few moments and highlight one of my favorite builds in the game. Now, as always, we're going to jump right into the details, and if you happen to enjoy this, do me a favor and hit that like button. It truly helps the channel out. And if you want to stay up to speed on all things Division, feel free to hit that subscribe or join button as well. Now, starting with the specialization, we are using Gunner, doing that for the typical reasons. First of all, you're going to get that extra armor on kill. You get a reload speed increase. This gives you access to the Banshee Pulse if you choose to use it. Get some extra rate of fire, and always remember, you need to make sure you have the proper weapons activated in your weapon skill tree. That way you're getting a 15% weapon damage bonus regardless of which one you're using. And for the record, the reason I say that in every build video is because a lot of players out there, including myself, you know, we use the same template for different builds. You don't switch the weapon, you're leaving weapon damage on the table, and you do not want to make that mistake. Now, my primary weapon for this build is the Pestilence. I'd have to say this and St. Elmo's are my favorite weapons in the game. As you can see, this has the talent Plague of the Outcast. And with that talent, hits applied to buff, dealing 100% weapon damage over 10 seconds. It stacks up to 50 times. Whenever an enemy dies with that debuff, 100% of the stacks are transferred to a nearby enemy within 25 meters. As far as the secondary and sidearm is concerned, it is totally up to you, dealer's choice. I typically will run with the Lexington just because I love this weapon, and as far as the handgun is concerned, if you have the quick step, I recommend using that because remember, with its talent, when the weapon is in your hand, you're getting an extra 20% movement speed bonus. Now moving on to the gear itself, you can see we're running 3 Langmo, 1 Petrov, 1 Cheska, and the Catharsis Mask, which is what we're starting with. This is one of those must-have exotics in the game. It has the talent Vicious Psycho, where taking damage builds stacks to a cap of 30. And each stack is going to grant 1.5% weapon damage. Taking damage at max stacks triggers a purge, removing all stacks and status effects, then dropping a healing cloud, which restores 5% max armor for 10 seconds to all allies in the cloud. So this happens to be one of those exotics that is great for solo or in a group. Next, we have the body armor. It's the first of 3 pieces of Langmo. Now, we're running 3 because we are targeting that third brand set bonus, which is 30% LMG damage. And you can see on the body armor, we are using the talent Obliterate, where critical hits increase total weapon damage by 1% for 10 seconds, stacking up to 20 times. Next, we have the holster. It is the second piece of Langmo, which now, my friends, takes us to the knee pads. And for this build, I'm using the Turmoil knee pads. It's the 1 piece of Cheska. Now, you can get these during the Rise Up end of season stretch goals event by opening up those different caches, either the Rise Up caches or the Rise Up Prestige caches. Wish you nothing but the best of luck, and these have the talent Bewildered. When dealing weapon damage to an enemy, 50% of the damage will be dealt to another enemy within 30 meters. Now, for those of you out there who may not have these knee pads as yet, just use Fox's Prayer. They have that middle attribute, 8% damage to targets out of cover. I can promise you that will still get the job done. And a lot of players out there actually prefer these knee pads over the other ones. So again, they play very differently, so try each one out. Make your own decision. Next, we have the gloves. It's 1 piece of Petrov. We are using Contractor's Gloves for that middle attribute, 8% damage to armor, and that 10% LMG damage bonus. Last but not least, we have the named Langmo backpack, the Backbone, and it has the talent Perfectly Unstoppable Force, where killing an enemy increases total weapon damage by 7% for 15 seconds, stacking up to 5 times. As far as the skills are concerned, for this build, I'm using a combination of the Fixer Drone and the Reviver Hive, just in case things get sideways. When we take a look at the numbers, you can see him sitting at 57.5 crit hit chance. Remember, the max is 60, and 102.1 crit hit damage. And you noticed a lot of these pieces are not fully optimized, so those numbers could definitely be improved. Finally, I want to mention the fact that in the gameplay footage you're about to see, I do not have any global modifiers running whatsoever. And the main reason for that is to ensure that whenever you see this build, you know exactly what it can do without any special events. Hope this helped you out, my friends, and as always, questions, comments, or feedback, please let me know, and I'll do my best to get back to you as quick as I can. On that note, I'm going to leave you with some gameplay footage and a few final thoughts. As always, I want to take a moment and thank you all for your incredible continued support. Please let me know of any other questions you have I did not address. Thank you once again for the privilege of your time, and as I mention at the end of every one of these, take care of yourselves, be kind to each other, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks again, everyone. Hello once again, my fellow agents. I hope you're doing well on this fine day. I am at work as of my posting this video. I work weekends now, but I have a few days off during the week. Well, it's a whole hot mess, but anyway, I have more free time now. Thank you again for your patience during the last few months. It is good to be back on a regular basis. And as I said a moment ago, or at the beginning of the video, this happens to be that point in the season where a lot of players out there are getting ready for next season. And look, I know there's a lot of questions in regard to what we can actually expect to see. A lot of people are really unsure what the future is going to look like as far as between now and when we get, the DLC, survivors, the new incursion, things like that. However, one constant we have in this game is that people always want to work on their builds, and I'll continue to bring you these things, and hopefully it does help you out. And as always, if you have any other questions, please let me know in the comment section. And look, we'll see what things are like next Tuesday. And as you've heard me mention in previous videos, do me a favor, let me know, what do you think of everything we can expect to see in Year 8 Season 2 at this point? I know the community is pretty torn right now. It's in a weird place. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. That's all I got for this introduction. I hope all of you have a wonderful weekend. Do me a favor, also let me know what builds would you like to see over the next few days. I'll be putting more stuff together per your request. Thank you once again for everything. Take care of yourselves, be kind to each other, and I will see you in the next one.
Hostiles guarding location nearby. Heavily armored hostiles detected. Supply room access unlocked.
You'll need to do that again!
Incoming hostiles detected. Access.
We kicked their ass!
Back.
Friendly combatants detected. Detected. Nearby location guarded by hostiles. Friendly combatants nearby.
what we'd do without you.